Hello, the internet, and with the upcoming release of Shrek 5, I'm gonna rank the Shrek villains from evil to most evil, and I'm also including the Puss in Boots spin-off movies, since they do count in the Shrek universe. Alright, let's start with the least evil of the bunch. Taking the first spot as least evil is going to Goldie and the Three Bears crime family. Despite being called a crime family, they are easily the least evil of the Shrek evils, a family that includes of Goldie, Papa, Mama, and Baby. They are the least evil since they are not really out for power or revenge, but to find a wishing star that is actually a golden one to have a proper family. While they can be a bit ruthless, for the most part they are pretty harmless and incompetent as thugs. They also clearly care for one another as a family, with both Papa and Mama being protective of their kids. And it was revealed that they adopted Goldie when she was young. But what really earns them this low spot is that they end up helping Puss and Kitty stop Jack Horner from using his wish to take over the world. And after that, they end up giving up on crime and are on good terms with the cats and dog. For that, they earned this spot as the least bad of the bunch. In second place, we have Lancelot. In this universe, Lancelot is just your typical bully jock stereotype you've seen in many high school movies before. He picks on Arthur and is very popular. Outside of that, that's all he is. He's just a mean jock that's basically his character. Nothing else really, and that's why he's this low. Third least evil is going to Death. When we first meet this wolf, he at first seems to be a bounty hunter for money, but as the film goes on, it turns out to be Death himself, trying to get Puss due to the fact that he has 9 lives and he wastes 8 of them. By the end, he spares the cat, for now. While he did take pleasure in tormenting the cat, he never had any real malice towards anyone else other than Puss. And compared to lair foes on this list, he's more of a neutral force than an actual bad guy. Next up, we have Thelonious, executor for Farquaad. He is seen torturing Jindy into milk. However, he isn't doing this maliciously as he is just following orders. And once Farquaad is out of the picture, he does switch sides, even join Donkey in the end of the movie. Though he does join Farquaad as a ghost in an attempt to kill Fiona, but once again, he's just doing this out of obligation and malice. And once again, he does side with the heroes, even saving them from falling down a water hole, so I guess he's not all bad. Next up, we have the fairy tale villains. As their name suggests, they are the villains of the fairy tales, from the Evil Queen to Captain Hook to Stromboli. In this film, they team up with Prince Charming to take over Far, Far Away in order to take down Shrek. While they have done some pretty awful things, the reason they aren't any higher is that they were only villains because that's what society made them turn out to be. And thanks to Arthur, they were able to come around and become better people. Next up, we have this film's version of Robin Hood, Monsieur Hood, who thought that Shrek kidnapped Fiona and thought he was saving her, and did try to kill Shrek and Donkey. To be honest, he's more misguided than downright malicious, still concerned how Fiona was not enjoying her time with him. He can be quite selfish, so he's still ranked a bit higher. Next up, we have Prince Charming. First appearing in Shrek 2, he is the son of the fairy godmother. However, despite his gorgeous looks, he is nothing but a big pain, as he play a part in his mother's plan to sabotage Shrek's happily ever after and take the throne. Though he is thwarted, he then appears as the big bad of Shrek III, where he joins all the fairy tale foes to take over Far, Far Away, kidnaps Fiona and the princess friends, and plots to kill Shrek in a play he staged. While he can be quite devious, he's also quite pathetic as well. As even if when he's being a threat, Shrek still roasts him, so we still have to place him not as low as later ones. Well, not as low. Next up, we have Humpty Alexander Dumpty, the true main baddie of Puss in Boots. In his youth, he was an orphan that befriended Puss, but as the years went on, they began to drift apart as Puss became a hero, and so Humpty framed the cat for stealing the money of the city, leaving Puss to flee the city, and Humpty being taken in. Years later, he reunites with the pussy cat as they and Kitty Sawpaws plan to steal the golden goose to pay back the city. However, it was actually a trap set by Humpty, as they actually plot everything all along to not only have Puss arrested, but to also have the golden goose's mother to destroy the city of San Ricardo. Given that he was willing to have the city destroyed and innocent lives killed, that it's why he's this low. That being said, he does redeem himself by the end, by helping Puss and even sacrificing his own life by the end. Still, he was going to have a town destroyed, so he still ranks low. Next up, we have Jack and Jill, married outlaws. They are shown to be ruthless and brutal, and of course they did work for Humpty. However, they are not very loyal to the egg, as they are willing to double-cross him for their own personal gain. And unlike Humpty, who at least had a sympathetic reason for why he did this, these two are just rotten to the core, not caring who gets in the way. The only thing that keeps them from falling any lower is that they do seem to care about each other. Next up, we have the fairy godmother. On the surface, she seems like a friendly fairy who just wants to help people. However, it turns out she's a cunning, manipulative schemer who just wants to get her way, as she plotted to hitch his son Charming with Fiona in order to take the throne, even threatened King Harold at some points. And when things aren't going her way, she will resort to violence. The only good thing about Godmother is that she does care for her son Charming, and she did offer King Harold some food at one point. In turn, our bottom three were given the Bronze Medal of Evil to Lord Farquaad, Shrek's first foe. Farquaad is the prime example of an egotistical jerk. He only sees himself as perfect and looks down at anyone he deems unworthy, mainly the fairy tale creatures that he banished from their homes and into Shrek's swamp. When Shrek asks them to remove them from his swamp, Farquaad agrees when he rescues Fiona for him. The only reason for so is that he can be declared a king legally. And when when Fiona reveals herself to be an ogre, he immediately dismisses her and tries to have her sent back to the tower for the rest of her life. And given that he would rather send other people to do his bidding, makes him worse. And we're glad he was eaten by the dragon. He later appears in Shrek 4D, where he tried to have Fiona killed by throwing her in a waterfall, which is strange since he did throw her at the end of the first film, though thankfully he is thwarted by the dragon once again. Selfish, cruel, and spineless, Farquaad is just the worst, but there are worse characters coming up next. Taking the silver, we have Big Jack Horner, the prime example of an irredeemable monster. Jack goes to find the wishing star so he can become the master of all magic and conquer the world. And like Farquaad, he only cares about himself and looks down at others. However, Jack is much more ruthless, as he's willing to kill anyone who stands in his way, even willing to sacrifice his own minions during the chase for the star. The reason he turned out this way is just because he just didn't value his life he had, despite being great. There's this one big guy to watch out for. And finally, the gold medal of evil goes to Rumpelstiltskin. Clearly the most evilest being in the Shrek universe, after being rejected by the king and queen of Far, Far Away, he tricked Shrek into signing a deal that erases him from existence and took over the throne, and turned all of Far, Far Away into a wasteland. And by the days up, Shrek will be erased forever. What earns Rumpel the gold medal is that he's quite possibly one of the few villains to actually succeed and take over something that most villains fail to do, unless you count, well, Prince Charming, but that was short-lived. And though he is thwarted, it still shows that Rumpel is something to fear, and that's why he earns this high spot. But before we leave, let's give some Cinder medals. Felonious earns the Dorian medal due to him not being the brightest bulb. I mean, he says number 3 and puts out 2 fingers. The last medal goes to Charming since he was quite flirtatious with Fiona. The gluttony medal goes to the bears. Being bears, they are bound to have huge appetites. Godmother earns the wrath medal since she makes threats to those not getting her way. When not getting her way. The Jack Horner earns the envy medal as is shown in a flashback. He is shown to be quite jealous of Pinocchio. The green medal goes to Rumpelstiltskin due to how power hungry he can be. And finally, earn the pride medal is going to Farquaad as he takes the egotistical to a whole new level. Alright, that's my list. Who do you think are the most evil beings in Shrek and who are the least evils? If so, leave your thoughts in a comment, and I'll see you all next time.